Who's ready to get a little bit better? If so, you should comment yes in the comments. Woo! Okay, I'm talking to some parents today. A lot of my parents are entrepreneurs and really growth-minded people, and so I want to talk to some parents who want to be great parents, but they might be going through a difficult season. Maybe not. Maybe they're teenagers, or maybe you're having some struggles. Maybe you had some health struggles with a child, or whatever it might be. And the question that you're asking yourself, that I've often heard, how do I not kill my kids? How do I just get through this phase right now without murdering one of my children? I've been there. And here's the thing. Have you been in those moments where there's loving, well-meaning people and they attempt to encourage you, and they say, hey, it's just a phase. You can get through this. It's just a phase. Like, when you have newborns and maybe like we experienced, one of them might have acid reflux and they might cry for the first 6 months of their life. And you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And people would encourage us with, it's just a phase. You'll get through this. Or maybe in the toddler phase and you're at the grocery store or in the middle of the store and your kid gets upset, and then it goes from upset to a full-blown temper tantrum. And you know, everybody's watching you, and they're judging you, and they're judging you, and they're judging you because you're a horrible parent, because your kid threw a temper tantrum. And that old lady, she's a grandma, she comes by and she says, honey, don't worry, it's okay, it's just a phase. Or maybe you're in the teenage phase, and your kid doesn't like you. No, in fact, they hate you because they tell you all the time, I hate you! And you don't know what to do, and you call your parents, and you're reaching out for help. What do I do? And what do your parents say? Hey, honey, it's just a phase. They'll remember they love you at some point, that you gave birth to them, that they needed you. Here's the problem with it's just a phase. It's true. And here's the real danger. If we live holding on to it's just a phase, and we use that so that we can survive the difficult, challenging, even painful phases with our kids, the danger is, if we hold on to that as consolation, that we might miss the opportunity to treasure all the moments in every phase. Because it is just a phase, but you don't want to miss it. Because time flies. Like people said, you're going to blink and then they're going to be graduating. They're going to be walking down the aisle and get married. Guess what? It's all true. It's all true. And so I thought, sometimes it's hard to wrap our heads around just how quick the phases go. And so I wanted to give you a quick little illustration that I'm totally borrowing. There's a great book by a guy named Reggie Joiner called Playing for Keeps, Losing Your Marbles. He's got another one called It's Just a Phase, So Don't Miss It. And let me share this little illustration. This right here is 486 marbles. 486 marbles. Every marble represents 1 week. And this is the number of weeks from when you bring that adorable baby home from the hospital until the week that they graduate high school. 486 weeks. And that seems like, that's a lot of marbles, right? That's a lot of opportunity and a lot of time. But sometimes we don't realize just how quick it flies by, because if your child is 9 years old, you now only have, this is 936. I think I said 400. This is 936. This is 408. Oh, now I'm getting my numbers wrong. 936, 468, just to get it right for you. If you're down to 468 because your kid's 9 years old, guess what? You've already lost half your marbles. And then when you lost half your marbles and you're here, that means you're only 312 marbles until your child gets their driver's license. And then when you get to that point, you're only 4 family vacations away until they move out. They're supposed to do that, right? They're supposed to move out. They're not supposed to stay in your house. And when they move out, you'll still be connected, and they'll come, especially in college. They're going to come back to you for food and for laundry. So make sure you provide that for them. But it's never going to be the same. You never get these back. You never get those same kind of moments, that same amount of closeness, them living under your roof and having the meals together, doing the drive time and sitting in car line. Yes, that could be a good thing. Like you never get these moments back. So, I mean, if you're a parent and you got some little ones that are still in high school, I am not attempting to discourage you and depress you right now. Well, what I am doing is saying, hey, if you've been asking yourself, how do I not kill my kid? What if you maybe shift your perspective and said, you know what? It's just a phase. It's true. So you'll survive it. But what if you started looking for the opportunities in that phase? Yep, even the one where you're trying not to kill them, to say, how could I make that week count? This marble count. I mean, if you could hear this and all of a sudden make a shift to become more intentional, and let me just give you a real practical application of this. So maybe your eyes are opened and now you're looking at these marbles and you're like, how do I make the marbles count? The biggest thing you can do to make every marble count is simple. You just need to become intentional with your time. You've got to make every marble count, which means to make the most of every moment that you have. That means you've got to get intentional about what you do. And think about this, because when you think about the different phases, like when they're an infant, it feels like you get 24 hours, right? Because they don't sleep the way they're supposed to, right? But when they're a toddler, I mean, you get like 12 hours a day with that kid. I mean, from the time they wake and you feed them until the time they get bath time and they go to bed, you get like solid 12 hours. They go to elementary school, and then you're down to like what? You get like 6 hours of waking time because you send them off to school, right? So like you get a little time in the morning, then the evening, and it's very limited. By the time you get to high school, shoot, you're lucky if you get 30 minutes with your kid because they're doing so much on their own. And then when they start driving themselves, it's all the more, and they want to spend more time with friends, and they've got sports, and they got extracurricular, and they're doing all these things. So again, not trying to overwhelm you, but how do you make every marble count in every phase that you go through with your kids? Simple. All you need is a strategy, and I can give you some questions to help you create your strategy, okay? So I'm going to give you 4 questions here that if you're taking notes, write these down, write them down, because 4 questions to help you create a strategy to make every marble count. Question number 1, what are the times we're going to spend together each day? Like if you got drive time in the morning, see, like some of you, it's like bath time or feeding time. They're really little, but then you get drive time as you're taking to school or whatever it might be. Breakfast time, maybe some of you sit down at a meal. See, some of you are going to realize the times we have together each day, they're not enough. And we're going to create some new ones, and we're going to have a meal time every night. We're going to sit down at a dinner table every night, and we're going to make every night count. We're going to have family dinner, and it's going to be a new tradition in our home. We're going to make every marble count. So what are the times we're going to spend together each day, right? What's the times, and then how do you maximize that? Maybe instead of listening to your talk radio while your kid's in the back seat, maybe you need to have some conversations and ask some questions other than, how's your day? Because they're only going to say good or fine, or if they're a boy, a middle school boy, right? They don't even get a full word out of them. You've got to ask some more creative questions like, what made you laugh today? You got a funny story from what happened today? Did anything make you sad? What are you excited about? Like, you got to get more creative. So what is the time I'm going to have each day? And then get resourceful. Question number 2, what are the times we're going to spend together each week? Are you seeing a pattern here? What are the times each week? And then you see the rhythm and you see the opportunities, and then you create strategies to say, I'm going to maximize that time. Question 3, what are the times we'll spend together each month? There's some things that are a monthly rhythm, and you can be aware and you can be intentional about those times. How do you maximize those times? And then finally, question number 4, what are the times we'll spend together each year? And listen, some of you out of this video, you're going to create some family traditions that you never had. Some of you are going to have Taco Tuesday. You're going to have pancakes for breakfast or pancakes for dinner, like breakfast for dinner one night of the week. You're going to create some family traditions to make every marble count. Some of you are just going to start talking to your kids in the car. Some of you are going to actually enjoy bath time. Some of you are going to look at even the times when you have to discipline your kid as an opportunity, because you have limited amount of opportunity to invest in them and build character in them and shape them into who God designed them to be. And maybe when you realize you only get 936 weeks, you might be more mindful to make even the difficult moments of each phase count a little bit more. So, are you committed to making every marble count? I've done this illustration live and I've given people marbles and they've come back to me years later and they carry the marble in their pocket. Some of you need to go to the store and buy some marble, put a marble in your pocket so that every time you pull it out or you put it in your dash or put it in an ashtray or whatever it might be, like you see it and you're reminded that you're going to make every marble count. I hope this has encouraged you and challenged you to not kill your child. That was the question. How do I not kill my kid? You don't kill your kid by remembering that you've got a limited amount of time to love them, to shape them, to encourage them, to build them up to be the person that God created them to be. So I hope this helped you. Go out there and make every marble count. Go out there and give your greatness to the world, starting with your own kids. I love you guys. Have a great week.